These two guys with zero coding experience built an AI product in weeks using Lovable and are already on track to generate $10,000 in revenue this month. They built Instance AI, a text-to-N8N automation platform, basically like Lovable, but instead of vibe coding apps, you just describe an AI automation that you want, and then it generates that AI automation for you. And in this video, they will explain how they're landing their first clients and their tips and strategies. Let's get started. What's your names?
I'm Jacob Zundell.
I'm Grant Hillam.
We're building Instance AI. It's basically like vibe coding, but for automations. We started this a couple weeks ago and we already have revenue in the door. We've signed a few clients already. One is an electrical contracting company. Another one is a local university here, Brigham Young University. We're helping them build out automations. And then we've also have a few pre-sales with a few nonprofits around here as well.
Yeah, can you explain how much you're charging?
So it depends on the automation for sure. We're on track to hit 10K this month. We're doing it two ways. One is just a regular scope of work that we automate for them and then we'll manage on the back end. And then we have a value-based proposition for those who might be a little bit more price sensitive. So that way we can deliver high quality, but still maintain a really good unit economics on our back end. With electrical contracting company, we're helping them create some automations in their HR department, and they'll be paying us around 5 to 8K for that specific automation, depending on the exact scope of work. But then for BYU, we've already signed a few 5K range where we're helping them actually build out these automations around their licensing department, specifically their tech transfer office, enabling them to just be a lot more efficient, get more licensees, other things like that. And then with the nonprofits, we are doing more of that value-based selling. We'll be doing the initial build, which will probably be anywhere from like $1,000 to $2,000. And then we will be able to manage it on the value-based or the hours that we save them. So we're hoping to save them anywhere from 3 to 5 hours a week just on this initial automation. And then we'll start getting into more contracts with them as well.
There's kind of two sides to the product. Like there's that B2B side where we're letting these large companies come in and just trade automations at 10, 20x the speed of what it would typically take with a lot more precision as well. But also we have it configured, like even if you're just an individual user doing automations like on your own, in your own systems, or even in just your daily life, it's set for that too. And it makes it just as easy as just describing the automation that you want, just ready, set, go, it's done.
It's kind of crazy what the enterprise ticket is, the sales ticket on enterprise level automations. They'll charge $15,000 for one automation and then charge them $5,000 a month to maintain that automation. Ticket sales are just so much higher on the B2B side. So that's why we're doing that. But we also want to make it super accessible to anybody else who wants to come and be like, hey, I want a piece of those high ticket prices, but do it in a really scalable way. And so that's kind of our goal. And that's what we saw with Lovable as well. Like Lovable, I think is an awesome example of creating a ton of value for individual users, but also letting those users make a lot of money off the platform as well. And so that's kind of what we're trying to do.
It's really interesting because you're essentially enabling people to vibe code automations. So as I understand it, you describe the automation that you want in plain text. Then you get back like the actual kind of code or the JSON structure of the automation.
That's pretty much it. Like you just describe the automation that you want, and it's then going to take you to the next page, and it's basically going to say, okay, here are all of the tools that you're going to need to get this functioning. Here are the ones that are not configured in your N8N yet. So let's go sign into this. And then once they're all configured, you just press go. And it's going to pull you into like the same kind of interface that you have in Lovable, like an IDE, where you're typing on the left and you can visually see your automation on the right. And you can get it's just through text and chat. And then once it's running, you just hit publish and there you go. All the triggers are set up and everything.
And the visualization, is it like a flowchart, like on N8N? Is it like?
Yeah, it looks the exact same, yep.
And for the viewers who may not know what N8N is, it's like a way to build automations by dragging and dropping, essentially.
Yeah, it's basically like if you know Zapier or Make.com, N8N is basically the version that's a little bit more, it's more versatile. for sure. You can do a lot more with it, do a lot more
webhooks.
There's so much more that you can do, but it does have a higher level of complexity to and technical lift. So being able to say, let's take like the best automation platform and let's just commoditize its usability so that anyone can use it just simply by describing the automations that they want, hitting go. Yeah, pretty freaking dope. Yeah.
Yeah, we're super excited about it. And in the future, we're looking to build out more connectivity around other platforms. So you could have your N8N instance on there, and then you could have Zapier on there, and then you can have a bunch of other ones. So that way you can have a super powerful automation tool that can connect to basically any platform out there. So you're looking at automations in marketing, in operations, in HR, and all of these different types. And the nice thing about Instance and about N8N is that you can do it super securely. So if you have an enterprise level client, like they can host it on their own servers and you would just be able to manage it for them. And so it's like super secure. You don't have to worry about like passing information to the wrong sources or other things like that.
And Instance is completely built within Lovable, is that correct?
Yeah. So we use Lovable, created that front end, created the back end, created the connectivity and other things like that. And so it's been super important for us to get that usability as well as design and other things like that to a point where we can actually test it out and deploy it into the industry super, super fast, because neither of us are technically, we don't have like a technical background, like we didn't go to school for CS or other things like that, but we still super confident with using Lovable and providing those technical products to people because it's just like super easy to use. And I think we've tried to just mimic what Lovable does, where it's like, hey, you guys add a ton of value to the marketplace by making it easier, but also a ton of people can make a lot of money off of your platform. And so that's what we're trying to do as well, where it's like super easy usability, very obvious clientele, very high ticket, but it's also to the point where anyone can jump in and figure things out. Obviously, it's not like you log in and start making money, right? You still have to do the work to understand what editing then is and understand what your clients want and set up good systems that way. But it's so much more available to people to go out and be like, hey, I'm good at sales or I'm good at marketing or whatever. Now I can plug in this technical tool that will add so much more value per customer or per individual that I go out and get.
But how did you get into like the tech space and an entrepreneurial space, I guess?
I got super into like the whole software startup world when I was in high school. And I was like, that's what I want to do. That's where I want to be, like just setting my sights on that ambition. But I don't know how to code. I don't know how to code at all. I've never written a single line of code in my entire life. And so there's always this technical hurdle of like, my dreams are here and I'm going to have to get like a ton of funding so that I can subcontract out the software development. And then hopefully, you know, like there's this big risk overhead that's always just sitting there. And it's like, how do you navigate around that? And so the second that Jacob showed me Lovable is like a light bulb went off, like, oh, okay, like we're off to the races. Now we can just build stuff and start chasing that dream. And for me, like it's been, I don't know, I probably spend 5 or 6 hours a day in Lovables every day for the last year.
Yeah, and that was similar to me. So at BYU, I graduated with an entrepreneurial management degree, and I just wanted to make entrepreneurship more accessible to people. And everyone has a business idea, and it usually revolves around like some sort of app or technology or other things like that, where it's might not be the next $1 billion idea, but it really helps their personal life. I set out to make software more accessible to people. I actually started a SaaS accelerator. Started off with just websites and then went to full web apps and full SaaS and other things like that. So went through a bunch of different platforms like Bubble.io, Replit, all of these other ones. But Lovable was the one that I stuck with because I think the quality of design really matters in software, and the user interface and the user experience is super important. And they were the ones that allowed individuals to iterate the fastest with the highest degree of quality. So you didn't have to have a designer, you didn't have to have a backend developer, you didn't have to have all of these things as part of it, but you could just build out this awesome prototype and go start selling to people. Go do pre-sales, go get feedback, other things like that. And a lot of those other platforms just required a higher degree of learning curve that took away from the iteration process. And that is what seemed to be the most important for a lot of these companies. They needed to go out and iterate, find what the customer wanted, how it would connect to their stack, how it would influence their day-to-day, other things like that was the most important information that they needed. And the best way to do that is actually having a prototype that you go and show your customers and be like, hey, is this what you're looking for? Would this be the X factor or be an actual useful software for you? And then so Lovable enabled them to do that, and they enabled me to do that. And long story short, I shifted away from the SaaS accelerator and focused more on automations because we saw that a lot of people, I wanted to have a larger impact on individuals, and software is a little bit harder on the larger scale of helping a ton of individuals.
Do you have any advice for other people who are like, want to build something?
My advice always goes into the same bucket. Like, forget about yourself, forget about your financial aspirations and goals, and just say like, okay, who are the people in my circle that need help? And then we just forget about myself and go help them. Be super concerned and just be obsessed over finding problems that you can solve, and become obsessed not with your solution, but become obsessed with the problem. If you really have a product that you have built because you're trying to serve people genuinely, they're going to respond much better to it. Yeah, you can just talk about it, and you can just have this passion about it, and people are going to be really attracted to that. And so just detach from the money and just attach yourself to the service and to sharing it and helping people out.
Oh, I love that.
Mine is super similar. Probably the first piece of advice is just managing expectations, because it's going to take a lot longer than you think.
Yes.
Even though Lovable speeds it up like crazy, if you're just starting, like, you should give yourself a longer runway than you think and work a lot harder than you think. If you expect to make money in the next 6 months, put probably a year on it, because you have distractions in your life. Everything's going to come up. Everything's going to try to prevent you from you reaching your goals. It's just naturally you're going to face opposition. And so managing those expectations is super important in order to have that passion and have that enjoyment of the process. And similar to what Grant was saying, is like, it is a process. And so you got to love the process. You got to get obsessed with the process. And even that was similar with us. Like, the reason why we were able to monetize it so quick is because we've been working on building these relationships for so long. Like, if I didn't know the people at the university super well, then they probably wouldn't have cared what product I was building. But they knew me, and they knew like how passionate I was about entrepreneurship and other things like that. And so they recognized that and took a chance on me, and it turned out great for them and for me. Same with the electrical contracting company. I had met the owner of that through networking and other things like that, and just sent him a LinkedIn DM and said, hey, this is what I'm working on. He's like, oh my gosh, we would love to test this out with you. And so being able to understand that who you are is just as important as the product that you're building is super important. I think it's super important to have systems, really, really good systems. As you attract these talents and these opportunities, they're gonna overwhelm you if you don't have great systems as part of it. If you are able to systemize what you're doing, the experience that you're offering, that's super scalable.
To add on that, like, it's real easy to think, I built a product, and this product I built on Lovable is gonna make me the money. It's not. You're gonna make your money. The product that you build on Lovable is just gonna be your vehicle. You still gotta step on the gas and fill the car up with the gas.
Yeah.
You still gotta actually drive it.
And I think that's where you win on the timelines, because most people are like, okay, I'm gonna work at this for a month, and if I don't see any results, they're out of there. And so the way you win is by lasting longer than those individuals and providing a better experience than those individuals. And so when you're able to do that, you're able to actually win and actually see where that revenue comes in. And then when you win on the margins, then you can start getting more into the mainstream of, okay, this is a better way to scale, this is a better marketing initiative, whatever it is, and be a lot more creative, I think.
If you guys have any tips when building with Lovable?
At the end of the day, like, Lovable is an accelerator that's going to speed up your development 100x. Like literally, you can build in a week with Lovable what would have taken you 2 years. You have to really be able to have that clear cut. This is exactly what I want it to do. This is exactly what I want it to look like. And I'm still going to treat myself like the architect, and Lovable is going to execute the code. So if you just kind of shift your role from you don't want to take every single part of development and put that on Lovable's shoulders. You still want to be the designer. You still want to be the architect. You want to own the workflow and the back end of your product in your head, right? And just be more like an orchestra director rather than just subcontract into Lovable.
And what are some things you guys have learned while selling your products? Do you have any tips specifically related to selling and distributing?
So you got to make sure that you have a really good grasp on who you're selling to, how you add value to that customer, and then just be really passionate about what you're doing and not take criticisms to heart. And so when people say no to your selling, you can ask them why they're saying no, or ask yourself why they're saying no. And typically it's because you're not associating what you're doing with their top of mind problem. And there's usually a lot of disconnect if you're going into enterprise sales, like the CEO or the executive team or whatever will have their own goals. And then it'll be slightly different depending on the departments that you're talking to. And so I think it's super important to be able to communicate well with a variety of different individuals. And it's also important that you learn to talk to different industries because different industries value different things. It might be the same exact thing, it might be efficiency, but they say it in a different way. And so you have to kind of learn the jargon of each industry that you're wanting to sell to and what is a no-brainer offer to them.
Don't be so set on I'm just going to go for this specific profile for this specific problem, but just talk to everyone about it. Make your product a part of who you are, if you're really excited about it, it's going to come up in casual conversation. A lot of your sales and a lot of your money is going to come from that.
Are you guys doing this full time right now? Or do you have a job at the side, or how does the setup look like?
I'm part-time. I think you're more full-time.
Yeah, so I'm a little bit more full-time. I'm working on the agency side of things. And so I've run an agency for about the past year or so. And so that's more of my main income stream. And now we're subsidizing it with this product where I don't have to go and build out all of my automations all the time, but it actually frees up my time a lot more to go out and network more, to get more customers, other things like that on the business side of things.
And then, I'm just more part-time. I actually run a different company that I also built with Lovable. Different story for a different day.
Yeah.
But yeah, my time is split between this and a different Lovable product that I've built, pulling an income from as well. So part-time, full-time kind of mix.
Yeah.
And what is your plan with this other Lovable project? Is that are you making money from that, or?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of the same, different product based, different type of industry, right? It's in financial automation and coaching, but same roadmap,
Yeah.
Very high scale, a lot of partnership growth, individual growth, and just hopefully, in 2 years from now, get that 50 mil plus exit and change a lot of lives. So it's just basically the same exact thing. We're able to do it across a couple of different products. And yeah.
Thank you, Grant and Jacob, for the interview. It has been really nice having you guys on.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been awesome talking with you, Isaac. Super excited about the new stuff with Lovable. If you haven't tried Lovable, 10 out of 10, you should at least try it. I'm sure you'll be shocked at how effective it is. But thanks so much for having us on. It's been great to chat.
Thank you so much.